Hello everyone, welcome to the video lecture on applied hydraulics. In this video lecture, we'll be discussing about non-uniform flow. We'll be discussing about water surface profile and its characteristics. So this is the content. We'll be studying about water surface profile and its characteristic. Now, before we actually discuss about the characteristics of water surface profile, let us discuss about the equation which we will be using in order to study the water surface profile characteristic. We have the dynamic equation for gradually varied flow. dy by dx is equals to SO minus SF divided by 1 minus V square by Gy, where SO is slope of bed of channel, SF is slope of energy line. V is the velocity of flow and Y is the depth of flow. Let us denote this as equation 1. Now, the denominator V square divided by Gy, we can replace it by Fr square, since Froude's number Fr is equals to V under root of Gy. Let me call this as equation 1. Also, V square by Gy is equals to Q square divided by A square into T by B V square by Gy is equals to Q square by A square into T by B into 1 divided by Gy. Here V has been replaced by Q by A, and for rectangle channel section, top width is equals to the bed width. Further, V square by Gy can be simplified as Q square T divided by A cube G. Now, if we simplify this, equation 1 can be rewritten as dy by dx is equals to S0 minus SF whole divided by 1 minus Q square T divided by G A cube. Let me call this as equation 1b. Now, for a wide rectangle channel, I can simplify equation 1. So, for a wide rectangle channel, the hydraulic mean radius R will be equal to the depth of flow. Hence, we can replace the hydraulic mean radius R with the depth of flow. Also, according to Manning's equation, Q is equals to 1 by N into B into Y into Y raised to 2 by 3 SF raised to 1 by 2. So, here 1 by N Y raised to 2 by 3 SF raised to 1 by 2 represents the velocity, and B into Y represents the area of cross section or area of flow section for a rectangle channel. The same equation, if the flow is uniform, we can write as Q is equals to 1 by N B into Yn raised to 2 by 3 S0 raised to 1 by 2. Now, if N is assumed to be same in both the cases, the ratio of SF by S0, if we simplify, we will be getting Yn by Y raised to 10 by 3. If we are using Chudzy's equation instead of Manning's equation, SF by S0 will be Yn by Y raised to 3. In the same way, Q square T divided by G A cube, if we simplify, it will be Yc by Y cube. So, if we substitute these values, that is ratio of SF by S0 and Q square T divided by G A cube in equation 1, we will be getting, and if we simplify it, we will be getting dy by dx is equals to S0 in the bracket 1 minus SF by S0 whole divided by 1 minus Q square T divided by G A cube. So, if we simplify it, it will be S0 in the bracket 1 minus Yn by Y raised to 10 by 3 whole divided by 1 minus Yc by Y raised to 3. This is Manning's equation for slope of free water surface. In the same way, we can write the equation for slope of free water surface in terms of Chudzy's equation. So, that equation will be dy by dx is equals to S0 in the bracket 1 minus Yn by Y raised to 3 whole divided by 1 minus Yc by Y raised to 3. So, we will be using this two equations, equation 2 and equation 3, to study the characteristics of each water surface profile. Now, coming to the characteristics of water surface profile. The surface profile, we can classify it as backwater curve or drawdown curve depending upon whether the depth of flow increases or decreases in the direction of flow. If dy by dx is positive, it is backwater curve. If dy by dx is negative, it is drop down curve. So, in order to plot a certain type of profile, it is necessary to know the characteristic of each profile, and obviously we will be using equation 2 and 3 to determine the characteristics of each profile. One thing, if you observe, the different surface profile with suffix 1 and 3, all those are backwater curves. The different water surface profile with suffix 2 are drop down curves. Now, coming to the surface profile of mild slope channel. In mild slope channel, there are 3 zones, and correspondingly there are 3 curves formed, M1, M2, M3. So, if the depth of flow is greater than the normal depth and critical depth, we will be getting M1 curve. If the depth of flow is in between normal depth and critical depth, we will be getting M2 curve. If the depth of flow is less than the normal depth and critical depth, we will be getting M3 curves. And in case of mild slope channel, the normal depth is greater than the critical depth. So, in the first zone, when the depth of flow is greater than the normal depth and critical depth, the given depth will be having the limiting values, y tends to the normal depth on the upstream side and y tends to infinity on the downstream side. So, if I apply these conditions, y tends to yn on the upstream side and y tends to infinity on the downstream side, in equation 2, I will be getting dy by dx tends to 0 as y tends to yn, and dy by dx tends to s naught as y tends to infinity. Therefore, dy by dx for this condition, depth of flow is greater than the normal depth and critical depth, is positive. So, it shows that M1 curve meets the normal depth line asymptotically on the upstream side, and it tends to be horizontal on the downstream side. So, here you can see M1 curve is meeting the normal depth line asymptotically. Actually, it is not meeting. So, both these two curves are almost parallel for an infinite distance, and it tends to be horizontal on the downstream side. In the second zone, if the depth of flow is in between the normal depth and critical depth, the slope of the free water surface is negative. The limiting values here are y tends to yn on the upstream side and y tends to yc on the downstream side. So, if y tends to yn, dy by dx tends to 0, and if y tends to yc, dy by dx tends to minus infinity, which means M2 curve meets the normal depth line asymptotically on the upstream side, and it meets the critical depth line normally on the downstream side. In the third zone, if the depth of flow is less than both the critical depth and normal depth, the slope of free water surface is positive. The limiting values here are y tends to the critical depth on the upstream side and y tends to 0 on the downstream side. So, if we use this condition, y tends to yc on the upstream side and y tends to 0 on the downstream side. So, as y tends to yc, dy by dx tends to minus infinity, and as y tends to 0, dy by dx tends to infinity. Thereby, it indicates that M3 curve meets both the channel bottom slope and the critical depth line normally. So, this is the practical cases of M1 curve. So, if we have a gate in a channel, on the upstream side of the gate we will be getting M1 curve, and if we lift the gate, so on the downstream side there is a chance of formation of hydraulic jump, we will be getting M3 curve, and if there is a fall or drop in the channel bed, so we will be getting M2 curve. Now, coming to surface profiles in case of steep slope channel. In case of steep slope channel, there are also 3 zones, that is, the depth of flow will be greater than the critical depth and normal depth, the depth of flow is in between the critical depth and normal depth, and the depth of flow is less than both critical depth and normal depth, and thereby we will be getting 3 curves S1, S2 and S3. In the first zone, if the depth of flow is greater than the critical depth and normal depth, dy by dx is positive. The limiting value here are y tends to yc on the upstream side and y tends to infinity on the downstream side. So, as y tends to yc, dy by dx tends to infinity. Obviously, this we are getting using equation 2 and 3. And as y tends to infinity, dy by dx tends to s naught, thereby indicating S1 curve meets the critical depth line normally on the upstream side and it tends to be horizontal on the downstream side. In the second zone, when the depth of flow is in between the critical depth and normal depth, the slope of free water surface is negative. So, the limiting values in this case are y tends to yc on the upstream side and y tends to yn on the downstream side. So, as y tends to yc, dy by dx tends to infinity, and as y tends to yn, dy by dx tends to 0. Thereby, the S2 curve will be meeting the critical depth line normally on the upstream side, and on the downstream side it meets the normal depth line asymptotically. So, here in this diagram you can see on the upstream side the S2 curve is meeting the critical depth line normally, and on the downstream side the S2 curve is asymptotic to the normal depth line. In the third zone, that is the depth of flow is less than both the critical depth and normal depth, dy by dx is positive. The limiting values here are y tends to the normal depth on the upstream side and y tends to 0 on the downstream side. So, as y tends to the normal depth yn, dy by dx tends to 0, and as y tends to 0, dy by dx tends to infinity, thereby indicating that S3 curve will be meeting the channel bed normally and it is asymptotic to the normal depth yn. So, this you can see on the upstream side the S3 curve is meeting the channel bed normally and it is meeting the normal depth asymptotically on the downstream side. So, in case of steep slope channels, if there are any spillway, if there are any gates, so here also we will be getting S1, S2 and S3 curve. Obviously, S3 curve will be getting in the hydraulic jump portion as we lift the gate, and S1 curve will be getting on the upstream side of the gate. Now, the surface profile in critical slope channel. In critical slope channel, only two zones exist, since in critical slope channels the normal depth and critical depth are equal. So, zone 2 is vanishing. So, only two zones, zone 1 and zone 3 exist. Hence, only two curves C1 and C3 are formed. So, in the first zone, so if the depth of flow is greater than the critical depth or normal depth, dy by dx is positive. The limiting values are y tends to the critical depth on the upstream side and y tends to infinity on the downstream side. So, as y tends to the critical depth, dy by dx tends to 0, and as y tends to infinity, dy by dx will be equal to S naught, which is nothing but SC. So, in case of critical slope channel, the slope of bed of channel S naught will be equal to SC, thereby indicating that C1 curve will be more or less horizontal. In third zone, when the depth of flow is less than the critical depth and normal depth, the dy by dx, that is slope of free water surface, is positive. So, the limiting values here are y tends to the critical depth on the upstream side and y tends to 0 on the downstream side. So, as y tends to the critical depth, dy by dx tends to 0 and y tends to 0, dy by dx tends to infinity, thereby indicating that C3 curve is also more or less horizontal. So, this is the diagram for the, in fact this is C1 curve and this is C3 curve. Please note this should be C1 curve. Now, coming to The surface profile of horizontal channel. In a channel with horizontal bottom, obviously the slope of bed up channel is equals to 0. So, the dynamic equation we can rewrite as dy by dx is equals to minus sf divided by 1 minus q square t divided by g a cube. So, if we simplify this, it will be minus n square v square y raised to 4 by 3 whole divided by 1 minus yc by y raised to 3. This is Manning's equation. In the same way, we can write for Chezy's equation dy by dx is equals to v square divided by c square y whole divided by 1 minus vc by y raised to 3. In case of horizontal bottom channel, the normal depth should be infinity. Hence, only there are two zones possible, and accordingly two curves are formed, that is H2 and H3. So, in second zone, the depth of flow is greater than the critical depth, dy by dx is negative. We are neglecting the upstream value, we are considering only the downstream value. So, as y tends to yc, dy by dx, if we consider these two equations, as y tends to yc, dy by dx tends to minus infinity. Thereby it indicates that the H2 curve meets the critical depth line normally on the downstream side, and it tends to approach the horizontal line tangentially. In third zone, since the depth of flow is less than the critical depth, dy by dx is positive, and as y tends to yc on the upstream side, dy by dx tends to minus infinity, and y tends to 0 on the downstream side, dy by dx tends to infinity, thereby indicating that H3 curve meets the critical depth line and the channel bottom normally. So, these are the practical cases of horizontal sloped channels. Coming to the surface profile of adverse slope channels. In a channel with adverse slope, the slope of bed of channel is negative and the normal depth is imaginary. Hence, there are only two possible curves since there are only two zones. So, in adverse slope channel, we will be getting A2 and A3 curves. In second zone, if the depth is greater than the critical depth, dy by dx is dy by dx is negative. The limiting values are y tends to the critical depth on the upstream side and y tends to infinity on the downstream side. So, as y tends to the critical depth yc, dy by dx tends to minus infinity, and as y tends to infinity, dy by dx tends to S naught, this should be S naught, thereby indicating that A2 tends to be horizontal on the upstream side and it meets the critical depth line normally on the downstream side. In third zone, that is when the depth of flow is less than the critical depth, dy by dx is positive. The limiting values are y tends to the critical depth on the upstream side, y tends to 0 on the downstream side. So, when y tends to the critical depth on the upstream side, dy by dx tends to minus infinity, as y tends to 0 on the downstream side, dy by dx tends to infinity, thereby indicating that A3 curve meets the critical depth line and the channel bottom normally. So, this is the diagram. So, here you can see, so on the upstream side it is more or less, A2 curve is more or less horizontal, and on the downstream side it is meeting the critical depth line normally, and A3 curve, it is meeting both the channel bottom as well as the critical depth line normally, and this is the practical case. Now, in order to determine the class of surface profile in a given channel, we need to adopt the following procedure. First, we need to compute the normal depth and critical depth for a given discharge, and once we compute the normal depth and critical depth, plot the lines representing the channel bed and the line of normal depth and critical depth. Now, depending upon the relative position of normal depth and critical depth, we can determine the channel slope, whether it is mild, critical, steep, adverse or horizontal. Say for example, in case of mild slope channel, the normal depth is above the critical depth. In case of steep slope channel, it is exactly opposite. So by knowing the normal depth and the depth at the control section, we can determine what is the type of surface. A control section is nothing but a section wherein there is a definite relationship between the discharge and the depth of flow. Thus, knowing the values of the depth of flow, the normal depth and critical depth, we can sketch the surface profile. If in any reach there is if in any reach the supercritical depth has met the subcritical depth, there we need to show a hydraulic jump. That is, when a stream of water has to cross the critical depth line, there will be a hydraulic jump. Let me discuss few problems. Okay, water flows in a triangle channel of side slope 1 horizontal to 1 vertical. The longitudinal slope is 0.001. Determine whether the channel is mild, steep or critical. When the discharge of 0.2 meter cube per second flows through it, assume Manning's N as 0.015. For what range of depths will be the flow on the type 1, 2, 3 curve? Now, here the side slope of the triangle channel is given 1 horizontal to 1 vertical, and slope of bed of channel is given S0 is equals to 0.001. The discharge is 0.2 meter cube per second. Let Y be the depth of flow. So the area of channel section or area of flow section will be, the area is given by half base into height. So since the side slope is 1 horizontal to 1 vertical, the top width of the free water surface will be 2y. So half into 2y into the depth of flow y. So if we simplify, we will be getting the area of flow section as y square. Likewise, the perimeter P will be equal to, since there are two sloping sides, it will be 2 into square root of y square plus y square. So if we simplify, it is 2y root 2. The hydraulic radius r is given by ratio of a by p. So if we are simplifying it, it is y divided by 2 root 2. Now, if you consider this equation, for Froude number equal to 1, Fr is given by, Fr is equals to V under root of Gy. So Fr square will be V square divided by Gy. So this will be equal to Q square divided by AC cube into Tc by G, which implies Q square by G is equals to AC cube by Tc. This is equals to Yc raised to 6 divided by 2Yc. If we simplify, we will be getting this as Yc raised to 5 divided by 2. So we can find the critical depth. Critical depth is equals to, this is actually for triangle channel section. The formula for critical depth, what we had derived in previous chapter, was for rectangle channel section. That is, Yc is equals to Q square by G raised to 1 by 3. So this is for triangle channel section. Yc is equals to 2Q square by G whole raised to 1 by 5. So if we substitute, we will be getting the critical depth as 0.382. Then we can use this Manning's equation in order to find the normal depth. Q is equals to 1 by n, A r raised to 2 by 3, S naught raised to 1 by 2. So here the hydraulic mean radius, the hydraulic mean radius, here it is yn divided by 2 root 2 and area is yn square. So if we substitute this value and if we simplify for yn, we will be getting yn as 0.536. So here you can note the critical depth is 0.382 and the normal depth is 0.536, which indicates that the given slope of bed of channel is mild. So in case of mild slope channels, the normal depth is greater than the critical depth. So since yn is greater than yc, the channel is a mild slope for the given discharge condition and given slope. So we will be getting M1 curve. We will be getting M1 curve if the depth of flow is greater than 0.536. We will be getting M2 curve if the depth of flow is in between 0.536 and 0.382. We will be getting M3 curve if the depth of flow is less than 0.382. Coming to one more problem, a wide rectangle channel carries a flow of 2.5 meter cube per second per meter width. The bed slope of the channel is 0.005. Determine whether the channel slope is mild, steep or critical. So here Manning's coefficient is given, discharge per unit width small q is given, slope of bed of channel which is 0.005, it has been mentioned. Now let y be the depth of flow, this is our assumption. So here since the discharge per unit width is given, we can find the critical depth. Critical depth yc is equals to q square by g whole raised to 1 by 3. So if we simplify, we will be getting the critical depth as 0.860. Also, if we use modified continuity equation, discharge per unit width small q is equals to yc vc is equals to yn vn. So here the critical velocity vc is equals to under root of g yc. If we are simplifying, we are getting 2.905. So using this value of vc, we can find Vn. So here q is equals to, so Yn I have written as it, this is in fact continuity equation, modified continuity equation. Yn I have written as it is. In place of Vn, I have used Manning's formula, 1 by n yn raised to 2 by 3 s naught raised to 1 by 2. This in fact the here in place of hydraulic mean radius, I have replaced it by r, I have replaced it by yn, that is for a wide channel. So if we simplify, we will be getting, if we simplify the above equation, we will be getting the normal depth as 0.683. So this indicates that the normal depth is less than the critical depth. So obviously the slope, the given slope is steep. These are my references. Thank you.